Alright, so today we're going to talk about inmate escape and evasion tactics. If I'm an inmate and I've escaped from prison, how would I go about escaping all the way? Once I've actually broken the perimeter of the facility, how would I go about making sure that the cops don't catch me so I can remain free? We're going to go into that right now.
You fucking criminal piece of shit!
You know, Bob has to figure out how to escape and evade. He's got to fucking, like, outmaneuver these cops, these law enforcement. The problem is, law enforcement is going to realize he's escaped. There's going to be master roster count. They're going to realize somebody's missing. Bob knows that they're going to set up containment on him. So what's Bob going to do? What's Bob going to do to not get caught by law enforcement? I tell you what he's going to have to do. He has to put as much distance between himself and the cops as possible. The problem is, if Bob steals a vehicle, that's going to be reported, and it's going to be a dead giveaway to his position and to what kind of vehicle he's driving. So Bob is going to have to kidnap somebody. Kidnapping somebody is chaotic. They could run away. They could call the police. You could be forced to kill the person you're kidnapping, which you probably don't want to do, and it's going to make a lot of noise. And you may not have a real weapon. You may have, like, what John Dillinger had. You know, John Dillinger had a fake gun that was made out of wood. So you may not have a real weapon, or you might only have a knife, or you might have a fake gun, or you might have your hand in a bag and be bluffing like you really have a gun, right? You need to pick your target very carefully. If you see a car that bumper stickers that look like this, you're probably not going to get very far. I'd probably would avoid a car that has "come and take it" bumper stickers and "don't tread on me" and Betsy Ross flags. Yeah, if you see a car like that, I probably would avoid that car. However, if you see a car that has a bunch of liberal bumper stickers and anti-Trump bumper stickers and anti-fascist bumper stickers, that's the car you want to target, and not for the reasons you think. It's not even for the reasons you think. I'm going to go into that in a second. Obviously, they probably don't have guns, but it goes beyond that. If you get into this person's car and then you hold them at gunpoint, how difficult would it be for Bob to claim that he's part of the anti-fascist resistance network and that all you got to do is drive me 100 miles and the anti-fascist resistance network is going to pay you $3,000 for helping me escape? I don't want to hurt you, but I will if I have to, and if you cooperate, we'll give you $3,000. Please help the resistance. And you already know they're ideologically sympathetic to this based off the bumper stickers on the back of their car. You see what I'm saying? Now, you could also do this to a right-wing person as well. The problem is they're probably armed, and when you first jump into their vehicle, you got to get control really quickly. So if you do this to a right-wing person, you got to be like, hey, I'm part of the right-wing resistance. But that wouldn't work very well right now because currently right-wingers are in power, so they would probably just look at you as a criminal and they'd probably shoot you. So from a practical standpoint, your ideological, psychological warfare, escape and evasion manipulation game is going to work best on a liberal. This time, 5-6 years ago, when Biden was in office, you might have tried it on a conservative. You might try to get a conservative to help you if you can convince him that you're part of some right-wing resistance network or something. So you're ideologically getting into this person's head and you're making them sympathetic and you're giving them Stockholm Syndrome. So not only do they not want you to shoot them, they're also sympathetic to your cause. So it's very easy for them to rationalize in their brain. This is called finessing. In the criminal underworld, this is called finessing, right? So, and there's so many layers to this. So you could tap into white guilt. You could tap into right-wing ideology, left-wing ideology. If it's a female inmate, you could tap into women's empowerment. If you're holding a woman at gunpoint, there's all types of, if the person you're holding at gunpoint is a war veteran and you know that from their bumper sticker, that's the thing, right? You can find out a lot about this person based on their bumper stickers, and you can use that to get into their head. So putting all your ideological leanings on the back of your car, I don't know if that's a good idea, because if I'm an escaped inmate and I'm looking for somebody to kidnap, I'm going to be factoring all that in. I'm going to be like, okay, how can I play this to where they'll get Stockholm Syndrome and they'll be more sympathetic to me? How can I play this? What angle can I do this to where they're going to be more sympathetic to me, to where I can finesse them and I can run psychological warfare games on them. These people are in prison, and they have years and years and years to think this shit up, right? So, like, if you're a white guy and you run into a racist redneck, you're going to play the racist redneck card. If you're a black guy and you run into some black people, you're going to play the help a brother out card, the system's holding me down. If you're a white person and if you're a black person and you run into some white liberals, you're going to play the help me or you're racist card. Whatever card, there's so many different cards you could play, but the point is you have to psychologically get into the head of the person you are kidnapping. It's the chill kidnapper technique. And it was actually first used widely by the Irish Republican Army, right? And so anybody could use it, right? There's different games you could play, and race and ethnicity and political ideology definitely play a hand in it, but there's no like one way to do it. You just get into the headspace of whoever you're kidnapping. That way they're more likely to cooperate with you. They develop Stockholm Syndrome. They're less likely to call the police. If the person you've kidnapped becomes cooperative and they have Stockholm Syndrome and they don't call the police, your odds of being able to successfully put distance between you and the police are enhanced exponentially. This is taught in like SERE training, like escape and evasion type stuff. Like this is literally, and in the United States where there's no language barrier and you know about the local culture, it's a lot easier to play these little psychological head games than it would be if you were, say, in North Korea. If you are an inmate that has escaped from some type of prison, you have to know about the local politics of the region. You have to know about the local gangs of the region. You have to know the anti-government forces of the region. You have to know the pro-government forces. You got to know these things, right? And these things can be found with like almanacs and stuff like that. News reports, articles, things of this nature. If I'm an escaped inmate and I hop in a car full of Crips, then they're going to smoke me. I'm trying to carjack them and hijack their vehicle, and it's a car full of Crips. I get smoked. You see what I'm saying? So you need to know these things. You need to know the basic politics of the region. You need to know the politics, the ideologies, the biases, and then, quite frankly, you can use prejudices and biases to your advantage to help get the sympathy. This is why in many ways, and I've seen this play out in prison. I've seen people trust another person because they're racist. And, that's another white person, I can trust them, and then get screwed over. I've seen it over and over. I've seen, you can play up under a person because they also think that you're racist or whatever. Like that shit. That's why I say blind racism just makes you weak. That's why I say it makes you weak, because you literally think that everybody that claims to be a racist is your friend or something, and it's just not really. It's not really how the real world works. It's, you know what I mean? Now, are there certain politically incorrect realities about race? Sure, yes, absolutely. There's politically incorrect realities about race and gender, 100%. But when you blindly think that every single white person that says something racist is like on your team and going to help you and not screw you over, like that's just a really weak way of thinking, and you set yourself up to being psychologically manipulated. So that's really the greater lesson of this story is you being ideologically aligned to shit, unconditionally ideologically aligned to shit, it makes it easier for people to play mind games. It makes it easier for people to rob you. It makes it easier for manipulators to take advantage of you. If I want to manipulate, if I was a sociopathic person and I wanted to manipulate people, the main people I would want to manipulate would be racist white people. You know why? Because they would see my tattoos and they would assume that I'm a fellow racist white person, and then I could scam them out of all their money and they wouldn't see it coming. Because they would assume that I'm a fellow racist white person, and they would think that, he's a fellow racist white person, right? Again, this is the mind games, right? And this is why being blindly racist and just hating people and not thinking critically about things, this is why this is a weakness and not a strength, right? It's not that I'm against tribalism and you being proud of your culture. It's just that when you go like completely into a racist mindset and you think every white person is good and you think every black person is bad, it becomes super easy for me to take advantage of you. That's really the takeaway from this video. Whenever you lack nuance and whenever you unconditionally support this group or that group, it opens the door for you to easily be psychologically manipulated. That's the main takeaway from this video. If you like these videos and you drink White Monster and you like mowing your lawn at 5 a.m., please, 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 please consider supporting the channel. Send me some money on Cash App. It'll increase the production value of these videos. Thank you. Have a good day. You don't got to send me money. I don't need it, but it would definitely help. It will help improve things around here. So, Jordan Jerub, signing off.